Day 8 of the Diddy trial ended with a bombshell. Prosecutors dropped a shocking twist and unreleased recording of Prince. Buried deep within the case files, the courtroom was left stunned. And Diddy's elite legal team Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Geragos and Brian Steele were visibly shaken. No one saw this coming. This mysterious audio wasn't just a curveball, it unravels secrets no one was prepared for. From explosive audio leaks and jaw-dropping testimony to an unexpected arson angle, week 2 of the Diddy trial just changed the entire game. Let's break down everything that's come to light.
First Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party. That is the one thing that I thought was odd, because I came one time with my security and no other security other than Diddy security is allowed to be inside the building. I mean, I saw Jay-Z and TD Jakes in there, every major celebrity you could think of who may or may not get along, may be on the other side of that gate with no security. And so now as you see this unfold, my wonder is, well, why weren't people able to have their protection?
Diddy threw one of his infamous freak-off parties this time inside Prince's private mansion. But here's the twist, Prince wasn't there. He knew better than to associate with Diddy's world, and he had a plan. Prince flipped the script on Diddy in the most dangerous way possible, by secretly rigging the entire estate with hidden cameras. Every scandalous act, every dark moment recorded. Prince wasn't just protecting himself, he was preparing to expose Sean Diddy Combs to the world. And this Thursday, that moment finally came. Prosecutors dropped a chilling piece of audio. Prince himself, laying out his plan, revealing how he knew Diddy would come for him, and why he still chose to risk everything to take a stand against the entire industry. This was more than evidence. This was a warning Prince tried to leave behind.
Alright, I'm gonna roll the clip now. Here we go.
Individuals who were allegedly paid for their silence. Prince mentioned specific amounts, $2 million to one person, $1.3 million to another, that perfectly matched financial records the prosecution had presented earlier in the trial. I've seen the payments, Prince stated. I've seen the NDAs they signed. This isn't just rich people behaving badly, it's systematic and calculated. The precision of Prince's knowledge suggested he had access to information that only an industry insider could know. As the recording continued, Prince's voice grew more somber. I'm making this recording because I'm afraid to speak out publicly. The power structure in this industry protects people like him. Nobody wants to believe what happens behind closed doors. The recording ended with words that sent chills through the courtroom. If anything happens to me, make sure this gets to the right people. This isn't just about protecting myself, it's about protecting everyone who hasn't been able to speak to Diddy.
So Diddy was just eliminating his competition or anybody who got in his way. What a menace P. Diddy was. I feel blessed never having to encounter something as evil as him. Alright, if you didn't know, now you know. There you have it. That's the scoop.
Ending her testimony, Cassie dropped a name that shook the courtroom usher. She claimed he witnessed Diddy brutally beat her, violate her, and threaten her life, but instead of helping, Usher allegedly turned away, covering for Diddy and staying silent as Cassie screamed for help. She said Diddy's inner circle, his accomplices, just stood there, watching as he unleashed violence on a defenseless woman. No one stepped in, no one stopped him. Then came the audio. Prosecutors played harrowing recordings, where Cassie's screams echo through the background, capturing moments of raw terror. The jurors were visibly shaken. These weren't just allegations anymore, they were sounds of real-time abuse, frozen forever on tape.
A shocking recording played in the courtroom today. I don't know in the courtroom if there was a reaction, but kind of give the context to that and what the reaction was.
One of the things that the government keeps bringing up is that Cassie felt like she was being blackmailed by Combs, that he had videos of these drug-fueled sex parties known as freak-offs, and that he threatened to release those videos publicly, and that at one point he even showed them to people, and that this was to embarrass her, to silence her, and to force her to keep having freak-offs, that he hung it over her head. And in one shocking moment today, I was in the courtroom. They actually played audio of Cassie screaming at a man named Sujit. This was after she had learned that he might have actually seen one of those freak off videos. But in that audio recording, that Cassie actually was the one who recorded herself talking to Sujit. In this recording, she is screaming at him, saying that she'll kill him or that she'll have someone else take care of him and kill him. And it's a different side of Cassie that really none of us have ever heard before. I definitely don't think it's the last time that we're going to hear that audio recording. I think at some point we'll see the defense or even the prosecution circle back to that. The overall vibe today in the courtroom is that Combs' defense team is struggling. There's a lot of stopping and starting because the prosecutors are constantly objecting to the evidence that they're trying to admit. The judge is even getting frustrated at one point, saying that we need to set ground rules.
Dawn Richards says she wasn't alone in witnessing Sean Diddy Combs' abuse. During her second day of testimony in the music mogul's federal trial, the 41-year-old described an alleged 2010 incident of Combs punching then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura at a West Hollywood, California restaurant and said Usher was also a witness to the event. During her testimony May 19th per NBC News, which had a reporter in the courtroom, she said, quote, Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach. They were having a private conversation, and then he punched her in the stomach. She immediately leaned over and left. In addition to Usher, Richard, who was a member of the girl group Danity Kane, which was formed on Combs' show Making the Band in 2004, alleged that other musicians, including singer Neo, record exec Jimmy Iovine, and rapper Big Daddy Kane were present as well. When Richard and Ventura got into a car to leave after the alleged restaurant incident, Richard said another physical altercation took place between Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his then-girlfriend. She continues in her testimony, quote, we got in the car to head back to her house. Combs grabbed her, slapped her, popped her in the mouth, and told her to shut the f*** up. Everyone was...
Story stunned the courtroom as they unveiled a disturbing inventory seized. From Sean Combs' hotel room on the day of his arrest, stacks of cash, drugs, loaded weapons, and hundreds of bottles of baby oil. This wasn't just a raid. It was a window into Diddy's unfiltered reality. Even after his indictment, Diddy showed zero remorse, according to prosecutors. He was still hosting violent freakout sessions behind closed doors. But it didn't end there. Homeland Security revealed something even darker. DNA evidence confirmed multiple women were in that room with him. During his arrest, the implication, Diddy wasn't slowing down. He was spiraling deeper. This wasn't just evidence, it was a statement. Diddy believed he was untouchable.
First look inside Combs' Miami mansion the day federal agents busted the gate open last year to raid it. A federal agent testifying about the evidence, guns and ammo seized from Diddy's home that were found near alleged freak-off supplies, which included dozens of bottles of baby oil and boxes of platform heels, bondage restraints, and bundles of rope. Also photographed as evidence that day, motivational messages on Combs' bathroom mirror that included "You a legend" and "Upward motion," and drugs. Lots of drugs, including ones found in plastic bags inside a Gucci bag and orange tablets with the Tesla logo that tested positive for ecstasy.
So we just got new exhibits today. Take a look at these photos that prosecutors have just released. They're pictures of Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, with what she says are bruises on her back and legs, which you can see here, and also a gash above her eye. Also released today some pictures from when Diddy was arrested in September of last year at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York. And a special agent with Homeland Security testified last week that some of the items found included baby oil, drugs, these pink packets of ketamine. There's also this image of a knife wedged in a door. Now, Combs, we aren't sure if he's going to be taking the stand in his own defense, but he denies all of the allegations against him. But will all of these witnesses really prove the government's charges that he was running this criminal empire and that he's guilty of sex trafficking?
In a devastating turn, one of the male sex workers hired by Diddy to abuse Cassie has taken the stand-in. His testimony is absolutely chilling. According to his account, Cassie would flinch, wince, and sigh in silent agony every time Diddy ordered him to be intimate with her. She never consented, she endured. During her own testimony, Cassie described how her stomach would twist in horror at being degraded, passed her out like a disposable object, but she couldn't say no. She was terrified of what Diddy might do. To her, these testimonies are painting a brutal picture of the control, fear, and trauma Diddy allegedly imposed behind closed doors. This isn't just shocking, it's sickening. And the jury is hearing every word.
Step on the stand after Cassie's mom stepped down, a man who goes by the name, wait for it, The Punisher. The Punisher. is an exotic dancer and former sex worker whose real name is Sheree Hayes. Mr. Hayes told the jury that he got his nickname playing basketball, but his photos, they seem to tell a different story for why he may be using that name today. Kind of safe for work, almost not safe for work. I wouldn't put it up at work, but that's the Punisher, y'all. Mr. Punisher testified that he was hired by Diddy and Cassie for 8 to 12 different times, things like episodes. And he was meant to create a sexy scene that would last for hours. He said that Diddy called all the shots in these episodes. He didn't call them freak-offs, but he described what we've heard as freak-offs. He never saw any cameras, he said. He didn't see any violence. And he said, although Cassie would sometimes wince or sigh at some of the sex directions that came from Diddy, he said it didn't seem as though Cassie was there against her will. Again, this is a prosecution witness, so that's kind of, it's on the fence there. He does certainly corroborate the freak-offs and what happened in the freak-offs, but that whole business about, to him, he wasn't sure if Cassie was into it or not, but he did hear that she winced and that she sighed as Diddy gave a lot of those directions. By the way, the Punisher also said that he never saw Diddy take drugs, never saw that he seemed drunk or high, which is exactly what prosecutors are trying to show, that this was not just an out-of-control, party of an enlisted megastar, but instead was a clear-eyed criminal enterprise.
He didn't just target Cassie, he went after anyone she reached out to. His goal was total isolation. And even Cassie's own mother wasn't safe. In a heartbreaking testimony, Cassie's mom revealed her fear. She knew her daughter was in danger, and that Diddy was a threat. At one point, she said Diddy demanded $20,000 if she ever wanted to see her daughter alive again. But it wasn't about the money. Diddy wasn't broke, he was cruel. The demand was a twisted power play meant to humiliate Cassie's family and push Cassie even deeper into isolation and fear. This wasn't just control, it was psychological warfare. And now it's all coming out in court.